Let me ask real quick, pause. If I was to say, I think you'd be so sexy if you did XYZ, would you do it?
Probably.
Because hearing somebody say you would be sexy is like, oh, well, let me make sure I do that for her, because then probably equate sexy means I'm probably going to have sex, so that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, that's me. The ultimate goal is to impress women.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or just welcome if you're new. My name is Eboni Harris, and I'm a relationship therapist and serial entrepreneur based in Houston, Texas. So today I'm doing a Get Ready With Me, but I'm not going to do my normal rant while I do my Get Ready With Me. I have finally hit 1,000 followers. Yay! It only took 9 years, but I finally hit it, mainly because I've started to become a little bit more consistent. But a big reason is 2 of my videos have went pseudo viral, not really viral, but pseudo viral, meaning I get a lot of views on those videos, even though they are old videos, which means people subscribe to my channel, which I appreciate. But I also get a lot of comments on those videos, and sometimes I just don't have the energy to comment back, especially when it's something that's a little wild. Some of them I'm trying to figure out if I was going to do a specific video for those comments, but mainly it's a lot. And, you know, as I keep going down these YouTube streets, I understand that's a part of it. But while I still have a pretty small following, I thought it would be cool to just kind of go through some of those comments, especially the ones that I normally wouldn't reply back to or say anything about because they're more negative. I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to just kind of rant a little bit about those comments. I'll talk about some of the positive ones, and I'll answer some questions as well. But we here for the negative comments because people are wild. So my first viral video was, or semi-viral video was, why do I attract unavailable men? And then from that, I got comments, and I made a video based on one of those comments, which was, should I date someone who I'm not attracted to? He's got everything I need. He's everything, you know, all the other things check off the box are checked off, but the attraction is not there. And so I made a video, and the way I decided to do the video was, I think I said maybe at the beginning, short answer is no. If you're not attracted to the person, don't date them. But I went into different ways that we could be attracted. Sometimes when we talk about attraction, we only discuss physical attraction, but we don't leave enough space for, there are lots of different ways people find people attractive. It can be personality, it can be financial, it could be you know, how they show up as with their families, or whatever the case may be. It could be a lot of different ways we find people attractive. So I kind of broke it down into these different ways you can find somebody attractive. I don't remember what I said. I think I might have said spiritual. I probably should have watched the video. I think I said spiritual, physical, financial, psychological, some stuff like that, right? Because you can, if you are really into a specific religion or your spirituality, and finding someone that has the exact same vibe and energy as you when it comes to spirituality or religion can trump other attraction if that's what's important to you. So that was the basis of the video. The video was if you find a person ugly or disgusting or whatever you want to call it, no, don't date them. But if you feel like they are physically okay, I'm cool with what they look like physically, I don't really care about that stuff, because you know, people love to say that, oh, I'm attracted to people's minds, even though they wouldn't date an ugly person that's really smart, but whatever. But I talked about the different types of attraction, and the fact that you can also grow attraction, because if you meet somebody that you're extremely attracted to, you get to know them, and you be like, ugh, I can't even imagine them kissing me because their personality is so trash. That means the opposite can happen as well. So that's pretty much sums up the video. A lot of people was like, thank you, this is great, I loved it. It really does help me conceptualize the idea of attraction and what I'm looking for and all of that. And a lot of people was just like, nah. A lot of comments were just like, you should never, don't do that, no, that's dumb, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's interesting because I have to remember, they're not even talking to me. They are just seeing a title and answering a question, because like I said, clearly in the video, I speak to, if physical attraction is important to you, don't date somebody you're not physically attracted to. Also, don't date anybody that you are repulsed by, that you physically just don't like the way they look in any way, shape, or form. Don't do that. And I feel like this is a very common question when people are asking, this is my situation, should I date this person? And one of my beliefs is, if you have to ask, you know the answer. And so if you're saying, I don't think I should date this person because I'm not physically attracted to them, or I don't really like them, or this, and that, what do you think? The answer is probably not. So, you probably don't date them. So the first one was, should I date a friend I've never been attracted to? We don't share same faith. and I want to be social, but he's antisocial. Feels like I would be miserable. Then why would you date them? The answer is no. Should you date someone you're not attracted to, that doesn't share the same faith as you, and that doesn't have a similar personality or complementary personality? No. The answer is no. Sorry, that sounded kind of, I don't know, rude, but the answer is no. Like, if you don't have, what would make you want to date this person? What would you be attracted to in this person? Are you just questioning this because they want to date you? I understand that people say like, oh, opposites attract, or people date people, all the time that they're not necessarily, they don't have a lot in common or whatever. And I get that. I understand that you never know what could happen, right? Nobody can predict the future. But going into something where you already are expecting to be miserable means you're more than likely going to be miserable. Even if that wouldn't be the case, when we have an expectation of how something's going to be before we go into it, that becomes our reality. So if I decide I'm going to go out with my friends, but I really don't want to go, this is going to suck, I don't want to be there. Yeah, sometimes it'll work out, but most of the time you're going to sit there and be like, this sucked, I don't want to be here, because you already had that in your spirit and your energy before you even went out with them. So no, if you already have decided that this is going to be a miserable situation, don't date them. No, that's not the person. And it's not, sometimes we just be like, well, I am a believer in date who likes you. Date the people that like you. But that means give people an opportunity, but that doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with them or that you should actually be with that person. I think you should look for people that you have interest in that also have interest in you. That's period. They should have interest in you and you should have interest in them. Not they only have an interest in you, but you don't have any interest in them. No, that's silly. Don't do that. The other comment I got was, he's a nice dude and it's all over me, but I'm just not attracted to him. He's also feminine in his mannerisms. Am I being shallow? What's your opinion on dating feminine men? I don't have an opinion on dating feminine men. I have an opinion on if you should date feminine men if you don't like feminine men. If you don't like feminine men, don't date feminine men. If you like feminine men, date feminine men. I don't have an opinion on what the masses should do. I think we have to trust in, like, we know what's best for us and we know what works for us. If you are a hyper masculine woman, whatever that means, I don't really like those, because the way people kind of phrase them now is completely different than what the original definitions were, but whatever. But if you're a hyper masculine woman, you might do well with a feminine man. That might work for you. If you're a hyper feminine woman, then you might not need a hyper feminine man, right? So match energies. Go with people that match or complement your energy. And so if you know, I like to be the feminine, girly, soft, relaxed, whatever you want to call it. If you know that you like to have that energy, then you might want to date someone that has the opposite of complementary energy. So no, don't date them. Some other comments that kind of grind my gears a little bit. This person put, financial attraction is equal to a sugar daddy. When people make blanket statements like that, and again, I know it's the internet. People just gonna say what they want to say. They gonna, whatever they got going on in life is more of a reflection of them than whatever I said in the video. But I just think it's very interesting that I think when I talked about financial attraction, I may have spoken about someone being able to do for you. I don't remember exactly. Like I said, I should have watched the video again, but it's been so long and I cringe sometimes watching my videos. But also, financial attraction can be, this person does well with their money and we make similar financial decisions, and I know I could trust them. If I'm struggling, I could trust that person to take care of their finances, just like if they have something going on, they could trust me to take care of their finances. Financial attraction does not mean, oh, this person's a millionaire, so I want to date them. That could be part of it, which is okay as well. But again, so then what is physical attraction equal to? Is physical attraction equal to a prostitute? Like, what are we talking about at this point? Like, what are we saying? Because it's just stupid. Financial attraction means that whatever you have going on financially is something that I could get with. If I'm I'm an entrepreneur, I have several businesses, I might want to date someone who's an entrepreneur. I also might want to date somebody that got a 9-to-5 job with health insurance. That could be financial attraction. So it doesn't always equal sugar daddy. But, because we have these such extreme views of women and men and these gender wars going on, anything that says has to be led to it's a fight. Anything that's said is, how can I make men look bad? How can I make women look bad? And it's sad. It's sad that that's what is going on in the world. I'm glad I'm not out in the world. I'm glad I got my little circle of people. I got my people that I care about and I spend time with, and I don't have to interact with a lot of strangers that have all these very strange and extreme opinions. But okay. Somebody said, what if they just need to shave and have a haircut? then date them. Like, if you know that that's all it is they need to shave and have a haircut, date them. But don't date them if they never shave or have a haircut, and that's now you got to force them to do that all the time in order for you to be attracted to them. So if you feel like, well, they're attractive, they just need to like have better upkeep. I mean, there is the whole trend on TikTok of after the girlfriend experience and the dude showing a little glow up or whatever after they've dated a woman for a while. But if you feel like that's all it is, and if they're willing to do that and keep up with it, date them. Like that, then that's not a reason not to date somebody. Then to me, you are attracted to that person because you see, oh, well, when they take care of themselves, they look good. Or when they put effort, I don't want to say take care of themselves because maybe they do take care of themselves. I just don't like to shave or cut their hair. But when they do this specific thing, they are attractive. Then if that's something they can upkeep, and if it doesn't bother you on the days when they don't do it, because the reality is there's probably going to be more times than not, if that's how you meet them or you see them now, it's more times than not they're not going to have that, then date them. I don't see why you wouldn't date them. I recently met a great guy, but I'm not attracted to his face. He's okay looking, but he needs a beard and to style his locks and needs to learn how to dress. He's a great guy though. Almost perfect. So that's one part. Let's start with the first part. Met a great guy. He's attractive, but he needs, again, going back to the need a shave and a haircut, he needs upkeep. If he just does a few things, he would be better looking. I know we don't want to hurt people's feelings, but if the guy is interested in you and if you're interested in him and you feel like he's great, why not have that conversation? Like, I feel like if you tell somebody that you're interested in, I don't know, I struggle because you said you're also not attracted to his face. That don't got nothing to do with his beard or his locks or whatever. So if you're not attracted to his face, you're not attracted to his face. But if it's real, like, if you grow out a beard, if you have some locks, he's not going to have a beard forever, though. So you need to be attracted to his face. That's number one. But if you feel like it's just these simple things, then say that. Like, because here's the reality. Either y'all going to keep talking or y'all not. Either you're going to date him because you're attracted to him or you're not. So why not just say the things like, hey, I think you would be hot if you styled your locks. And if you grew out a little facial hair, I think you would be so handsome. I think that would look so good on you. You would be so sexy. Men like to be complimented. And men like, if you tell them, let me ask real quick, pause. If I was to say, I think you would be so sexy if you did X, Y, Z, would you do it?
Probably.
Because hearing somebody say you would be sexy is like, oh, well, let me make sure I do that for her, because then probably equate sexy means I'm probably going to have sex, so that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, that's men's ultimate goal is to impress women.
Okay, so from the audience, men's ultimate goal is to impress women. And if you say this will make you sexy, and if they truly like you and are interested in you, they probably going to do what you think will make them sexy because they want to be sexy to you. They want to be attractive to you and they want to impress you. So if you feel like it's as simple as, man, if he just do X, Y, Z, say it. Either it's going to work or it's not. Especially if you're in a dating phase. Either it's going to work or it's not. And so why not take the risk of trying to get what you want and be specific on what you want at that time versus like trying to sugarcoat and push yourself to like something that you don't want. If you feel like that's something you want, say it. And if they say, oh, no, I can't do that. Okay, cool. And then y'all move on. Because the reality is, if y'all continue to date and you're not attracted to him, then you're going to move on anyway. You're going to leave anyway. You're not going to want to stay in that situation anyway. So why not just take a risk and say, hey, I like this. Why don't you try this? Let me just say this. Some people, because I feel like I'm the same way, don't necessarily have a specific style. They have things they like, they have things, but sometimes they just kind of like throw on things like, oh, that's comfortable, or it's cute enough or whatever, right? And so if you come in and be like, hey, like, I'm really into fashion, or I see this type of style and I really like that. If you came in and told them that type of stuff, they would probably be open to it. There's a difference between changing somebody's personality and the core of who they are and changing someone's behaviors or their style or something simple that's more tangible. Those two things aren't the same. So if somebody wears basketball shirts and t-shirts all the time and you like, hey, I like to have something that's a little bit more styled, these are some things that I think will look really good on you, and they go and buy those things and start wearing them, that's not you changing their personality. That's you changing what they wear. People can change what they wear all the time. I went from changing what I wore when I was in my teens to my 20s to my 30s to now my 40s. Like, I think people change, and so that's not a big thing to just kind of like give suggestions, say, I think this will look good on you, I really like this or whatever. And most people will be open to it because they're like, all right, let's see what it looks like. If you like it and then I put it on my body and I like it, then I might keep it up. If I put it on my body and I don't like it, then I'm probably not going to wear it. I'm not just going to wear it just only because you like it. But I'm open to the suggestion of like, oh, well, what do you like? Because I don't really have an established style. And so I'm open to see what other people will say they like. So the second part was, you talking about chemistry made me think about when I was dating this guy who was putting me off while we were dating, and he chose his ex over me. I wanted him so bad, even though he was unavailable. Now I have this amazing guy asking me to be his girlfriend, and the only thing I don't like is that he looks corny. Because chemistry is a fake thing. Chemistry is based in unavailability. Chemistry is based in anxiety. Chemistry is based in this, like, not really knowing the person and the mystery that comes with that. The way most people look at chemistry. So I'm glad you realized that. And again, if he looks corny, if it's just his looks and everything else is almost perfect, then talk to him about his looks. Talk to him about, like, hey, would you be open to this? Like, I like everything about you. I wouldn't tell him that you think his face is unattractive, because that's not nice. But you might say, like, I like everything about you. I think you are so handsome. I just think there are certain things that you could do to, like, elevate your look. Say that. This comment was interesting because I feel like, okay, I'm trying not to be mean. Sometimes it feels like it's people's first day on the internet, and when they comment certain things, I'm like, have you never watched a YouTube video before? Have you never talked to a therapist or expert in the field or anything like that? So this person says, your reason for say why people are attracted to bad boys is not something you came up with. It is a very studied and proven reason for attraction to certain people, anxious attachment styles. It is very valid and helpful, but it's not your own theory. You should put a smiley face. I've made over, I think, 200 videos at this point on YouTube. At no point am I saying this is a theory that I came up with and I've never studied anything. I am a licensed relationship therapist. I'm a licensed professional counselor and a licensed marriage and family therapist. I studied psychology in undergrad and grad school. And then I have 2 masters. I know this. I've done a lot of schooling. I've done a lot of education. So a lot of these theories that y'all are just learning about, like anxious attachment, like Attached, the book that just came out a few years ago and everybody's in an uproar about, I've been learning about that since 2002 when I went to undergrad. So I never said it was my theory, but when you explain stuff on the internet, I don't feel like I need to go back to Bowen's research back in the 70s to help you understand what it means to be attracted to things that your parents didn't give you. I don't think I need to cite everything I need to on the internet. I'm not writing a research paper. But if you would like, and I'm being so serious about this, if you would like a list of all of the theories that are not just attachment style, because that's one out of hundreds and hundreds of studies, I can make a resource list. If people are interested in that, and I'm not being funny, I'm being very serious. If people are interested in learning about the studies that are related to some of the concepts that I talk about, I'll be willing to do that. I would do it on a paid platform. So like if I started a Patreon or something like that, then I would give y'all all the studies so you can read it yourself. They're very interesting. They were interested in me, which is why I went into mental health and psychology, because I was always interested in these studies that they did around like motivation and why we act certain ways when we are literally, there's this one study that is about when we're so focused on something, we miss other parts of the scenario. And basically you're watching people play basketball and you're supposed to be counting how many times they pass the ball. And at one point, a man in a monkey suit comes on the screen, dances, and leaves. And most people don't see that person because they're so focused on the task at hand. Fascinating. Interesting. If you're interested in that type of stuff, let me know. I'll start a whole Patreon where I can give you citations and I can give you studies and all that kind of stuff. You got to pay for it because it's a lot of extra work and I'm not at school anymore. So, but I know that that's not my theory. At no point do I claim any of this stuff to be my theory. There are times when I kind of take theories and I kind of think on them and ponder on them and kind of expand it a little bit more to what I see in life and how I view life. But at no point am I taking credit for anything that I've said, because I have studied this for 10 years in school and in another 10 years since I've been out of school. I just don't feel a need to come on here and say, this is this person's study from 2000 and they got that study from the person in the 70s and that person came from the 1920s. Like, I don't feel a need to go through the history here, because the whole point of social media and the whole point of YouTube for me is to give information in digestible bites so that you're not having to go back and read all the papers. But if you're interested in that, trust me, I'll start a Patreon, pay me, and I will do it for you. Okay, this person said, my boyfriend said I grew on him. He wasn't attracted in the beginning. So yes, that proves on point that attraction can be grown. I don't like that he told you that, though. I don't like that. I don't know why someone feels the need to tell their partner, oh, I wasn't attracted to you, just FYI. Like, what good does that do? How is that helpful? But yes, attraction can be grown. Especially, let me say this, and I don't know if I said this in that video, but a lot of times when we start doing our own work as far as like healing, and we start working on like ourselves and our own traumas and triggers, what we're attracted to can change, because we start to realize how much of our attraction is based in childhood experiences and how much of our attraction is based in like our own traumas and things like that. And so once you start to heal those traumas, your attraction changes. The things you care about changes. So yeah, attraction can grow. I like this video. I learned things from it. However, the word ugly was uncalled for. I have unresolved mommy issues. My mother never told me that I'm handsome. Now I have to go to therapy to learn how to love my ugly self first, so others can feel my positive self-love vibe and love me in return. I hate that for you. I really do hate that you have this trauma around the word ugly. And I really love the fact that you are able to acknowledge the fact that that is your issue. Unfortunately, I don't know, when you say uncalled for, I disagree, because my definition of ugly, your definition of ugly, and the next person's definition of ugly are very different. There are very few people in the world that I would consider ugly, but that doesn't mean other people don't consider them ugly, right? And most of the time when I say ugly, I'm speaking more on personality. I'm speaking more on the way you show up in the world can be ugly, but that doesn't mean that people don't use the word ugly. So I hear you, but I'm just going to be honest. I've already used ugly in this video before. I'm probably not going to change my language because of your trauma. And I'm really sorry about that. And I hope that you do what you need to do to resolve that, so that when you hear the word, you're not so triggered by it. Because there's a lot of things that trigger us because of our experiences. And I get it and I understand it. And if you were my client, I would never use the word ugly in session. I wouldn't, well, we would use it because clearly you need to work on it, but I wouldn't use it to describe people. But this isn't therapy. So I'm sorry that triggered you. But I do feel like sometimes I just use the words that people use, because I want to connect with most people. And most people, when I say the word ugly, they have an idea in their head of what that means. And so it's just I feel like I'm being rude, but I'm not trying to be rude. A lot of times on the videos, I get people with it's very clear that their personal traumas have been triggered by something I've said. And as a therapist, I completely understand that. And I would never, purposely try to trigger somebody. But I'm also on here talking to, let's say, 1,000 people, because I got 1,000 followers now, talking to 1,000 people. And so if it was in one-on-one therapy, or if I was actually doing therapy, this isn't therapy, if I was actually doing therapy, then I would be a lot more mindful of it. But that's not what this is. And so I hope that you are able to kind of get that resolved. I think if even you saying loving your ugly self, I think you might need to reframe that, because your mom said you're ugly. That does not mean you're ugly. That does not mean that there is something wrong with physically how you look or anything like that. And so maybe you need to shift it to say, I'm learning to love myself, my physical self. I'm learning to love that I have beauty in myself. Maybe you need to reframe that so that word doesn't trigger you as much, because I don't think you're ugly, and I've never seen you before, and I'm sure there are plenty of people in the world that don't think you're ugly. So just because your mom said that doesn't mean, anyways, whatever. That's for you and your therapist to work out. But I get it, and I apologize for triggering you, and that was not my intention. But I cannot promise. Obviously, I used the word earlier today, so I cannot promise that I won't use it again. But I get it. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with these last few comments. I'm gonna try to be quick. I will say this: back in high school, I saw a girl in the hallways, not knowing her, and thought, I didn't make fun of her. I kept it to myself. But when I met her through friends, by coincidence, I fell head over heels for her. Not because she was nice, but because she was exciting and playful. And I was very into her. However, I didn't magically decide to like her. It just happened. If it doesn't just happen, I cannot just decide to be attracted, and you shouldn't feel obligated to just give it a chance. Yeah, I don't think you just decide, I'm going to be with this person even though I'm not attracted to them, or I'm going to become attracted to this person. I don't think that's the case. It's interesting you said you shouldn't feel obligated to give it a chance. I don't think anybody should feel obligated to do anything. But just like in your story, somebody that you may not have paid attention to, or that you may be like, that's not really my type. Once you get to know them and get to know their personality and get to know their charm or their charisma, riz, whatever you want to call it, then that could change your attraction to them. And that's just the reality of it. So there's no obligation. But I do think that sometimes in that initial meeting, or when you first see somebody, the only thing you have to go off of is attraction. And so if you're not, then don't force it. But if you're open, if you're like, I'm not really attracted to them, but let's just see who they are, how they are, because attraction can grow. People should just be honest with themselves. We want Nookie. Oh, this was funny. People should just be honest with themselves. We want nookie when we're young and horny and companionship when we're old and ugly. Trying to mix the two rarely works. I don't really know what the point of this comment was. Again, I always have a idea of what type of person or who sent this comment or put this comment on here. But I don't really know what the point of it was. Are you saying that first off, this is probably from a specific view, because I don't think everybody only wants nookie when they're young and horny. I don't know if that's a sentiment across the board. I don't know if you're saying that's a sentiment just for one male or female, whatever. I don't know if that's what you're saying. I don't think that's necessarily the case, because I know lots of people that wanted way more than nookie when they were young. I know a lot of people that were looking for a partnership when they were young. I know a lot of people that were in a relationship from the time they were teenagers until now when we were in our 40s, right? So I don't know if that's the case, that only thing people want is nookie. But even if that is the case, what does that have to do with attraction? So because you only want to have sex, then the only thing that matters is attraction. And then when we're old and ugly, because old and ugly are synonymous, it sounds like, for you, then we don't need to worry about attraction. We just need to focus on companionship. I disagree. That's all. I disagree. You either are attracted to someone or you're not. There is nothing in the middle. If someone looks average in your eyes, makes you go meh, then there is no attraction. You are attracted to someone if and only if they make you go hell yeah. That's my definition. Thank you for your definition. That is not everybody's definition. I just read a comment earlier when somebody said they saw a girl and they said meh, and then they started hanging out with her and they fell head over heels for her. So that's good that you are clear on your definition. And I think you should live your life based on that definition. Only if you have a hell yeah, as soon as you meet them, should you date them. I also think hell yes can come later though, but that's just my opinion. I think sometimes we could be like, in the beginning, and then we get to know them and we see them in a different light and a hell yeah can come. But yeah, I do think it should only be a hell yeah. I don't think you should ever do anything if it's like I guess I'll settle for this. But I do think hell yes can be developed over time. Somebody said, thank you for this. I have 2 men. They are super nice and sweet. Check off most boxes. But physically, I just can't. The thought makes my stomach hurt. I don't even want them to touch me. I'm so upset with myself because I feel like I'm being mean for feeling and thinking this way. I'm a believer in everyone can be attractive, so I try to drop hints, but then feel like I'm changing someone that's not what I want to do. If your stomach hurts at the idea of someone touching you, do not date them. I said this in a previous video. Being nice and being sweet is not a reason to date somebody. You should only date nice and sweet people. So that's not a reason to date somebody. Only talk to nice and sweet people. Meet as many nice and sweet people as you can so that doesn't become an exception and something that you get excited about. That should be the rule. You're not really committed to either of them, then yeah, the idea of trying to change them or trying to make them be something that they're not or something like that is a problem. You shouldn't try to change anybody. But again, I'm going to reiterate, changing someone's behavior, ask someone to change their behavior or change something about them, like their style or something. Like there's this thing like lose 100 pounds and then I'll be attracted to you, versus like go get a haircut. You look nice when you get a haircut. And most people feel more confident when they look good. We know what looks good on us and what doesn't look good on us. We know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. So it's not like there's like they didn't know. They were happy and thought they looked great. And then I told them to go get this haircut and they were like, I don't really like, no, people know what feels good and what looks good on them. It's hard because you're saying dating. And I just feel like when you're dating somebody, there are things you can say. Like I said, you can tell somebody like, oh, I'll be so attracted to you if you did this. Or, oh, I love this haircut. Have you ever tried this before? Or, man, this style is so sexy to me. Like, I wonder what you would look like in it, right? So you kind of, when you're dropping hints, maybe drop hints a little bit more explicit. Don't say, I'm not attracted to you, but if you do this, I might be attracted to you. But you might just say like, I love using media as a form, like movies, social media, things like that as like a way of communication. And so if you're scrolling through something and you say, man, this is a nice outfit. I think men that dress like this are so handsome. Like, I wonder what you would look like if you do you have clothes like this? Like, would you ever dress like this? What type of event would we need to go to for you to dress like this? I think this is so nice. I think, again, men like to impress women. So if that's the case, just try it. But if the thought of someone touching you makes your stomach hurt, that is the clear sign that you should not date them. Because here's the thing, even if you are physically attracted to them and the thought of them touching you makes your stomach hurt, or when they touch you, you feel awkward or whatever, there's something else there that you need to work through, whether that's something personal or something within a relationship that feels like I should not be with this person. All right, there are a lot more comments. I think I have almost 300 comments on that video, but that's all we're going to do today because this ended up being a much longer video than I expected it to be. But I really appreciate you watching. If you have any thoughts or comments about attraction, when you should be attracted, or you have any questions that you think I should do a video on, let me know below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. That's all.